All right. So this I have over here. Ben Weber gave me this. He showed me last week's parsha. We see all the Yishmael's kids, and look, read from here. It's customary to read the verses containing the names of Yishmael's sons each day as part of the Ma'amada. Each verse teaches us a lesson. And it's very interesting that we started, we're in the middle of Torah Vav, which is all about, if you hear someone humiliate you, insults you, you have to be quiet. So he says the first three kids were Mishma, Duma, Masa. Right? So it says if one hears Mishma, that's the first son is Mishma. If you hear Mishma, people insult him, but remains quiet, Duma, which is Doim, Yedoim v'Yishtek. So again, Mishma is the first son, Duma is the second son, Masa is the third son. So if someone hears someone insults him, but remains quiet, which is Duma, the second son, all his sins will be lifted away. Masa. Masa means all the sins will be lifted away. Is that amazing or what? This is last week's parsha.
Love. Where is this from?
This is from I forgot the name of the sefer. And then look, his reward will be what's going to be the reward? Chadad, Tema, and Yator, Nafish, and Kedema. That's the rest of the kids. Chadad, Tema, Yisur, Nefesh, Kedma. Says he will become sharp, Chadad, in his knowledge of the Torah, which we also saw. Rav Nachman brings down that he's going to have Chachma, right? Chadad, that's Chadad, and he will be able to speak. That's of its mysteries. That's Tema. God will keep him and make his name great, which is Yatar. So we have Chadat Tema Yisur Nefesh Kedma. That means we'll become sharp in his knowledge, and he will be able to speak of its mysteries, Tema, which is mysteries. God will keep him and make his name great. And Nefesh is as the sages of old. So you see from here, Rav Nachman says that whoever is quiet and does not respond, Hashem will give him kavod Elokim. And here you see, he's bringing it down in Yishmael. He says we should say it every day. That when you're quiet, Hashem will give you chachma in the Torah. He'll give you insight in Kabbalah, and he will make your name great. Just saying, this is straight up Torah Lishma. That's what it said. When you see something that you learned and you see in a different sefer, it's called Torah Lishma. All right, Josh, we can go back to Likutei Moharan. So, as I said before, and I'll repeat it, the Torah Vav is very much related to Chodesh Elul. It's all about doing tshuva, and so he's going to explain a little bit why this Torah. So, till here was Rabbi Nachman's lashon. From here is Rab Nosson added on to this Torah. So it says, Zesot kavanas elo, shemati k'tzat ketipim anayam. He said he heard a little bit from Reb Nachman, ketipim anayam. It was like a drop in the sea. Ayin shama kavanas shel elo mavoy sham, that he has a whole kavanas of Elul. Sheklal kavanas Elul hu anoisim bayam derech. The klal of Elul is a path through the sea. What does that mean? What does it mean, a path through the sea? He says, Derech is a concept of 2 times Hashem Yabek. Hashem has all different types of name put together with different letters. And Hashem has a name called Yabek. Yod Beis Kuf. Yabek is 112. 2 times Yabek is 224. And that's Derech is Gematria 224. V'zeh nimshach b'china shnei shemes, and there's two other shemes, which is Kof Samach Aleph and Samach Gimel. Those are the two other shemes. Welcome, Ari Davis. Ke'elu shnei shemes, these two shemes, which is Kof Samach Aleph and Samach Gimel, is oile gematria shtei pomim yaboik. It's gematria, the same gematria as yaboik, which is gematria derech canal. So he just brought you a kavana, and he's going to explain a little bit what you can do with the shemes. We're going to run through it real quick because we don't understand anything about shemes. The main thing is what he takes out of it. He says when you go do kavanas, you have to be mechaven the shem kof samach aleph with a segol and the samach gimel with a chirik. He says because segel the kof samach aleph and the chirik of samach gimel, that's gematria 400. How? Because kishem kof samach aleph hu shem ekye b'milu kazeh. If you write out the shem ekye, which is aleph mit a hey mit a yud and mit a hey. If you write it out, aleph lamet, if you write it out, that's 10 oisias. V'chol achas nekuda b'segol. And if you put a segol under each ois, he says put a segol under each ois, and each segol is, as we said, shalish nekudas, is 3 dots. And the 3 dots, each 3 dots is 10, which each dot is a yud. So each 3 dot is 10. That's oil shloishim. So if you combine the 10 segoils, that's 30. Okay, yud pomim segol oil shin, and then 10 times segoil, that's 300. That's how you get to 300 in the shem of kuf samach aleph. In the shem of samach gimel, it's yud oisia shemila havaya. You also write it out yud kei vov kei, and you write it out the miluin. Chalachas nakud bechirik oil kuf. And if you do a chirik underneath each one, that's gematria 100. Shneim chirik the samach gimel, the segel kuf samach aleph. Both of these shemes with the chirik and the segel is gematria 400, and that is gematria pshuta. What do you do with that? For Azal Lebikol beginners and all through with all these gematrias and all these karbonas, hayamin pshuta lekabel tshuvusoy. That's the yamin, is the right, is makabel the tshuva. Why? What's yamin? He says yamin b'miliu. If you write out yamin, yud vov dalet mem mem yud vov dalet. If you write it actually out the way it's spelled, that's oila derech imasholish oisius. So derech we know is gematria 224, but with the 3 letters, with the dalet reish and chav, that's the koilo, that's 227, right? And yamin is gematria 226. With the koilo is 227. So yamin in derech is the same thing. Which is also shtei pomim yaboik ayin sham kol zeh mevurim tach kavanas elul. He brings down the whole kavanas of elul, how you should have kavana in order to have the right tshuva. Va'ata boyer v'havan eich kol kavanas anal. He says now let me explain to you what are we doing with all these kavanas. Miramazim v'ne'lomim b'derech nifle v'noirem oy b'tach haTorah now. He's going to explain to you in this Torah how it works. We said in the beginning of the Torah that whoever wants to do tshuva, he needs to have 2 bekiyas. He needs to know how to do baki b'ratzi and baki b'shoif, right? He needs to have an experience in running and returning, ascending and descending, right? Shebechinas ayil v'nafik, going up and coming down. Bechinas em esek shemayim shamoto. That if I ascend to heaven, Hashem is there. That's baki b'ratzu. And even if you go down in the dumps, in hell, Hashem is there too. That means Baka B'Shoif. Perish is Pashat. Whoever wants to go in the paths of tshuva, you have to be mechazik constantly with the derech Hashem, bein ba'aliyah, bein be'irida. When you have a high, when you have a spiritual experience, when you go to Uman, you have a Shabbos, you're singing, you have a high. You have to be able to have Hashem in that and even be Yerida when something does not go the way you want. And know that Hashem is there too. And that's the beginning that he says, that Hashem is in both up and down. even if he's going to have, he'll be zoiche to any aliyah or any madrega. Don't be satisfied with, oh, look, I had this aliyah, I had this experience. Don't be satisfied with that. You have to be a baki in this. You have to go up and up. You have to go higher. But in order to go higher, you're going to have to go down. Right? So don't be satisfied with your highs and don't be afraid of your lows. You have to be a baki in both. If someone falls, even in the lowest of the lows. Don't be misyayish, don't despair. You have to search out for Hashem in every stage in life, in every level. You have to be mechazik with anything possible. Hashem is also in Shal Tachtius. You can also be connected to Hashem even in the lowest levels. This is what it means, which means that even in the Sha'oil, Hashem is there. You can't be Baki in the Derech HaTshuva. You can't go in the path of Tshuva unless you know both of these paths. But Dik Rabbeinu in Reb Nachman was very precise. He wanted to call it B'Shem Baki. You have to have a great expertise and of knowing this mahalach, this derech. You have to constantly work on your avodas Hashem, but that's happens b'chal eis lahagi lamadrege kavod yoser. You have to constantly hope that you can reach a higher level. Even though you're thinking you're not going higher and you're falling, he says, don't get discouraged. And you can be Mekayim by searching out for Hashem and looking out for Hashem in the low of the low. You're actually bringing Hashem into that level where that's going to bring you up.